Welcome back to Library Stories. We're going to be discussing today a few things about British and American libraries, basically the English-speaking world. One quick note that I want to clarify, I never promised in the beginning, at the very first video that I made, that this is going to be in chronological order. So today we're jumping a little bit ahead from where maybe you guys think we should be starting, but today we're going to be starting with it's the late 19th, early 20th centuries, basically some ethical issues in the library profession, where the United States and the United Kingdom played a very important role, mostly surrounding freedom of information and freedom of the press. As most of you might know, United States libraries, especially the American Library Association, are very prominent in the fight for freedom of information, allowing anyone to check out any book that they want, and the freedom of the press. Where this comes in is an evolutionary change as libraries began to open up their stacks. The stacks are the books and the collection of them when you walk into a library that you can access. Prior setups of libraries were actually closed stacks, which means you had to go to a person and then they would get the book for you. You couldn't browse the stacks. You had to look at the catalog and be like, I really like this sound of this book. Can you get this for me? So that's something that is a big change to what most people are used to today in public libraries. And where I'm getting my information is this fantastic book, The Story of Libraries by Fred Lerner. We're talking about Chapter 10, which is the Libraries for the People. And what we've got here is the discussion of the evolution of the closed stacks and then the ideas of freedom. You know, as politics changed, there was an idea among libraries that mostly people should have access to any type of information that could challenge the status quo. This really happened, really towards the 1890s all the way up to about 1940. This change was one where prior to that, the library profession was really focused on maintaining a certain level of status quo. They really wanted people to read so they could get up to this certain educational level of, we're going to read literature, history, and biographies. The idea of light reading or pulp fiction was really anathema to what the library was all about. But as time changed, especially around the time of the Bolshevik Revolution in the early 19th or 20th century, the idea of minority religious views or political views really became one that wasn't so off limits. And this was something that was specific to the United Kingdom and the United States. Much of the rest of the world didn't have the educational opportunities and the established ethics of a profession like the United States has and in the United Kingdom. This comes from issues of large endowments from people like Andrew Carnegie, who throughout both the United Kingdom and the United States gave money to build libraries, and that was the only way a city would get the money to build other works, was if they built a library. I know here in Denver, where I'm located, we have a building that used to be a Carnegie Library. It's very beautiful, and it's good to see that the city of Denver would agree to that. But because of these things, the idea of just having a reading room where people would read, now the libraries began to expand where they had books. Now you could go in and walk and peruse, just like the books I have here, where you can peruse the titles that I have and say, that one sounds interesting. Probably not, because I have a limited library, but it's the idea of an open stack that kind of goes along with our political openness that allows for a group of people to find whatever they feel like, anarchist themes, socialist, communist, democratic ideas. It doesn't matter, just as long as those ideas are available. An open stack really embraces the idea of open literature. And as time went by, more newspapers would come in. Originally, in reading rooms, certain librarians would black out gambling or the horse racing results to make sure that people who frequented bookmakers and bookies didn't come in and read. So the ideas are slowly starting to change at this point in the early 20th century, which really leads to the idea of what a public library is today, which is a source for anyone. Doesn't matter your race, religion, sexual orientation, or disability, where you can come in and get the information that you need, or just something as simple as some light reading or maybe even a film. So these are the things that are leading us up to today's modern libraries. And I'll be back fairly soon with a review of some articles that I have collected about the influence on British libraries on colonial India. Again, I'm Morgan Houston, and this has been Library Stories.